All right, guys, gonna make this short little video for you guys on some things that I always do before I start a colt. But one thing when I'm starting colts is this horse has to stand still for the saddling process. I generally, 99.9% of the time, put my pad on from the left side, set it up high, slide it down. Don't be sneaky about anything. Be pretty matter of fact about things. And I do my saddle up from the horse's right side. And if he backs up like he's doing, then I'll just kind of rub him to a stop. Swing that saddle once or twice, set that saddle on there, get my stirrup and cinch out there. But all of this needs to be done with the horse standing still, without anybody holding them, without the horse being tied. If the horse can't stand for the saddling process, then you need to drop back and fix a few things. The next thing that I do, and that the horse has to pass, is I have to be above this horse on a fence or a barrel or the tailgate of a truck or whatever. And I have to have a flag in my hand. Good boy. And that horse has to come up and pick me up from the fence. So by doing this, he's getting exposure to things above him. He's getting exposure to me being above him, and he's getting exposure to scary things like the flag being above him. Next thing that this horse has to be able to handle is me kind of coming in here. Like I said, don't be sneaky, just being pretty loud and nonchalant. Has to be able to let me rock him, get his feet square, get my toe in that stirrup, handle all this on a completely loose rein. Bounce, bounce, put my hip in that stirrup. So the next thing a horse has to learn before I'll ride him is, I call it raiding. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the horse between the fence and I, because that's going to put the horse in a claustrophobic squeeze from the fence and squeeze for me. So I'm going to just kind of send him over here to my left here, put him between the fence and I'm going to walk with him being between the fence and I. He's thinking sideways towards me. I'm going to put him between the fence and I'm going to keep my shoulder right where my keister is going to be in that saddle. So right there, where I'm going to be sitting in the saddle, there's a squeeze between the fence and I'm just going to have this horse walk, keeping me right there by a saddle. I came off the fence for the camera, but he needs to keep me right there where I'm going to be riding him. And he has to tolerate this flag moving and not leave me. See how he's kind of leaving me there? I'll just kind of wiggle that lead rope a little bit, because someday, a couple days, that's going to be my head. He has to be thinking forward, and he has to be able to tolerate all of these things. And I say tolerate, but I mean accept. Tolerate's not a good word. He needs to be able to accept these things and have the confidence. I've been working on, oh, I can't get mad at you for that. I've been working on picking me up from the fence, so that's what he's thinking. I can't get mad at him for trying. He could be doing a whole lot worse things than that. But he has to be able to handle this. My shoulder right where my butt's going to be, moving forward, handle this stuff. Good. But those are some things that I look for before I'll ever put a leg over a horse's back, is they have to stand still for saddling. Nobody's holding that horse. That horse isn't tied up. They have to be able to stand still while I'm jumping up and down, stepping up and down in the stirrups. And then they have to be able to rate with me. No matter where I go, they need to be able to rate with me with my shoulder in line with where my butt's going to be in that saddle. And they have to be able to have confidence with that flag working, so that it's just preparing me and them for when I fork my leg over. So there's a little short video on some things that I look for when I'm starting colts.